Welcome to the team call. I apologize for whatever went wrong with software. We will figure it out. My name is Megan Eggleston, and I am the founder of Team Phoenix. If you're new to the team, actually, you probably didn't make it onto the Zoom if you're new. If you figured out how to get here, then you probably are all veterans who are accustomed to these kind of things. So I apologize for this delay, so I'm going to try to get through this stuff. But first of all, let me just say happy November. I think the Quarter Force launch so far is going fantastic. From what I can see happening in my back office, I'm seeing lots of activity, so that's really exciting. If you guys have not gotten your hands on, I know there was some struggle with ordering. I know people are having a hard time. Hopefully that's fixed, or it's fixing. If you guys have not gotten your hands on yours, I encourage you to do that soon to join us in the Coaches Only Challenge. And I encourage you to go deluxe if you want to maybe continue with us. I'm considering doing another 30 days after this with the deluxe. So the deluxe kit. Anyway, I want to give you a couple of announcements too. Congratulations to a couple people who are, many of you know that there's been a big Push to Diamond group going on for 10 weeks. I was fortunate enough to partner with 9 other elite coaches, top performing coaches in the network. We really, big time coaches, more established, many of them, than even I am. Like, they've been around for 5-6 years, have really deep organizations, really talented, skilled coaches. And so we've been collaborating with them for 10 weeks, helping those of you who've had this big, push to diamond, and a couple of you have qualified for the cash pot. So, we don't do this for money, but for fun. We threw in $25, everybody that got involved. There's like 800 and some coaches who went into this, and meaning the pot got close to 20K. Crazy. Kristen Ray so far has qualified, and Teresa Levine. I think some other people, maybe a couple on the other teams have qualified, not very many. And I believe there's one more that might be making it happen this week. So that's really awesome. I'm super excited for you guys. So congratulations on that. Okay, guys. So I don't know if any of you had a chance to listen to the Rockstar call. In the newsletter on Sunday, I kind of set this topic up with Allie Upham's presentation at the leadership retreat. For those of you who are not aware, Beachbody does this leadership retreat for qualified individuals. They have to hit a certain amount of qualifications. One is you need to be 5-star, certain number of elite points. So you get invited to be in attendance at this top training. Myself and Andrea Stevens, Katie Arhan, and Jen McNeil qualified for that, and really amazing experience. We've learned so much, and I share with you training that Allie Upham provided, or she did. I just thought it was really critical information or training that I get out to my team, and I wanted to kind of piggyback off of her content. So if you have not had a chance to check that out, please do that. Let me go ahead and mute, just in case. I don't hear anything crazy yet, but you never know. You never know. Okay. So I wanted to piggyback off of her content. So if you haven't had a chance, definitely check that out. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about newsletter-wise, let me know, because you want to get on that. Okay, so she talks about being a transformational versus a transactional coach. Now, obviously, most of us get into the business with that mindset. We are really drawn to the business for whatever reason. Most people they've had some kind of results themselves, and they want to share that with others. But it's really easy to get into the transactional mindset. We are business, and we have transactions. You have to pay for our services, and there are measurable marks that certain things have transgressed in your business. And as you start to experience those, it becomes somewhat addicting, and it becomes somewhat how you measure your progress and your forward motion. And even if you get kind of started with a certain mindset, it's easy to kind of get into that rhythm of being, more transactional. I want to be cautious to not make assumptions that you cannot think transactionally ever. You do have to protect your time, which is a very valuable resource, and we cannot be 100% transformational. If we were just committing our lives to everybody's best transformation as well as our own, we wouldn't have any time for anything else. So I do want to just kind of put that disclaimer out there that it's okay to have a business mindset. However, when it is kind of clouding your judgment and the relationships that you're building, we have to be careful. And I think we can kind of get so far down the road, we forget what it looks like. So let me pull open my, I have a little document or some slides I'm working from. Ignore my mess. Me trying to figure out all these webinar. My goodness. Okay. You see this okay? Yeah. So I know this is like totally cliche, totally brand new coach stuff, but this is where it starts. Why do I coach? Why do I coach the way I do? What does it feel like to be coached by me, and how do I define success? These are all questions that I think we all have to take care to ask ourselves periodically. And maybe you haven't asked yourself that question in a while. And I want you to maybe jot these questions down right now and take some time after this to think about, why are you coaching? Like, did it start with something, but maybe now it's I don't know, changing, it's evolving. Why currently do you coach the way that you do? Think about it. Oh my gosh, if I was on the other side of this as a new coach being trained or as a challenger, what does that feel like? And how do you define success? So, just jot those down for now. We don't have to go deep into that, but that's where this all starts, is why. Our number one job, guys, is to get clients results. So I remember when I was a new coach, I really didn't have a business. I've told you this story a bazillion times, so I don't want to go into it. I didn't plan to build a business. I didn't have anybody coaching me to tell me how to run a business, which was a good thing, and a bad thing. I didn't know what to do. But the good thing was I didn't know what to expect, and I think it kind of sheltered me from creating too much of a high expectation of what kind of transactions I might want to. Does that make sense? So that was the good part of it. Was my number one job in my head was to get just to create awesome challenge groups and to give my customers the best possible experience and see them their lives transformed. That was my number one job. That's all I even thought about. But we're in an environment where we do want to build businesses, and that's okay. But we forget that our number one job and the mission of Beachbody is to help people achieve their goals and live healthy, fulfilling lives. Their goals. We sometimes think more about our goals when we get challengers. So if your number one job is to get your clients results, your one way to do that is to create belief. So right now, if you think about it, right now, is the way that you're coaching, is it creating belief? Belief in the process, belief in you, belief in challenge groups, belief in Beachbody. You have to think about all those things. Are the things that you're doing creating belief? Because belief is what creates results. The reason people commit to a challenge group with you is because for some reason they believe that it's going to work. The reason they commit to Shakeology is because they somehow believe it's going to transform something inside of you. And I can look at times when I've maybe not facilitated the belief in Shakeology, and that's why I'm like, why are none of my customers staying on Shakeology? I don't get it, and it's because I have not really done a great job in creating belief in that, product. Belief in you as a coach. that's why we say you've got to lead by example. You can't expect your coaches to, do what you ask them to do if you're not leading by example. So, if think about the way that you coach right now, if what you're doing now is creating belief, because like I said, belief creates results, and results create lifers. The people who are on this team who have just decided this is my jam, this is where I belong. Oops, I did not mean to do that. They are lifers because they have had some kind of results. They have, whether it's, just in their business and their physical transformation, and most of the time both. Most of the time it's because they know this works. They know that these products work, that their lives have been changed by it, and they know the business works. They've seen it, it happen in their life. And so I don't like not being able to see your faces. So I'm going to pull this up. If I do that present mode, I can't see faces, and I need to be able to talk to somebody. So you're just going to see this view. So those are the lifers, and isn't that what we all want? We want lifers. We want people on our team and in our challenge groups that they're here with us forever. They just get us, we get them. That's what most of you are. You're lifers, and that's why we love to be here, because we're with people who share our, vision. And when we get clients' results, we get referrals. That's why people come back to our 5 days. That's why people come back to our 21 days. That's why they tell their friends, hey, you should check her out. We have loyalty. We have people who are staying on product. We have people who, even when they're not seeing results, they stick around because they know it's coming. We have retention on product. And if, we are doing our job well, we get advocates, enthusiasts, and if we're really lucky, we get coaches, right? Ultimately, if you attended the Super Saturday, this past weekend, they shared the vital process, the 4 vital processes or whatever. And I should have them written down somewhere, but essentially, I do. The vital process is to get clients started, to get them results, let's see. I have it down here. Actually, I put it on this last slide. Get clients started, get them results, transition to coach, develop and mentor coaches. But oftentimes we get clients started and try to get them we try to skip through those second and third stages. In order to create these advocates, enthusiasts, we have to get through that vital process. And I know from my experience in this past year, I've had a harder time with that because the business has been so attractive to many of the coaches that come, into my, in my inbox. And that's okay. That's okay to be attracted to the business. But if I'm not careful to really take them through that vital process of having results and creating a belief and becoming advocates and enthusiasts, then they're gonna be discouraged at the first tough spot in the business. They're gonna have a harder time committing to the vitals, and then I'm likely to lose them because they have not gotten results. And can you force someone to get results? No, but you can do your best to facilitate that. And so that's just up to us to be intentional. So that's something that I have to be really actively working on as I bring people into the business who I know do want to build a business, is making sure that I am helping them achieve results and belief while they're learning the ropes, because ultimately they've got to be able to talk to somebody and say, I believe in challenge groups and here's why. I believe in Shakeology and here's why. Here's how it's changed me, because it's not authentic any other way, right? So as our team grows, this is going to become a little bit more challenging for us because people are attracted to building a business when they come in oftentimes. So I'm just kind of giving you that heads up that this is going to be one of those things that you've got to think about what you're doing intentionally, so you're not having that coach who is like, you get crickets because you're like, I don't understand. Like, they were so excited. Where'd they go? And they just really haven't been taken through the process in a way that they are legit believers. They have not, they're not in it. So transactional coaching, what can this do? It leads to frustration and discouragement. I could have been really discouraged and frustrated. Like, oh my gosh, like this, I'm working with these coaches and they seem so excited, but they're, now they're gone because, there was not enough of a transformation. It could be challengers that I got enrolled and, I'm not sure if anybody's ever noticed this. My easiest challenge pack sales, like those people who I haven't actually like gone through a lot of like a 5-day with or had a lot of conversations with for months, they tend to be my challengers who drop off the quickest. The people who it's like pulling teeth to get to try a challenge group with me, same with like inviting to the business, they tend to be the people who get it, who commit. They actually get the transformation. And I believe it's because the belief system hasn't been set in place. They have not gotten enough time to trust, which is, belief. So it's like someone's, somehow they were just like really ready and I got an easier sale. Because there hasn't been there, a belief there, they tend to not. And so I get discouraged, like, what did I do wrong? So, and that's not to say it's to blame it's not to blame me, but it's just to take to really think about the transaction or the transformation, having an awareness there. So, you get discouraged. So if as a coach, if you're thinking transactionally and you're like going for your success club, going for that income, going for that leaderboard, when that turns into your motivation, that's when you become less inspired. And that's when it's easy to just make excuses of no time. This is when your family is frustrated with you because you're like, I got to get Success Club. So, I've got to do everything I can to make this happen. That's when these kind of things happen. That's when when you start to think transactionally, it's when you're not doing, and I'll show you what that looks like, that you're going to butt up against these things because you're not being transformational in nature. This is when you become inconsistent, and this is when you become so fatigued. I know what this looks like. I know what this looks like because I've been there. I've been in phases of my business where I'm going for goals and I find myself shifting towards this transactional way of coaching. Going for 15 star, there was like, I remember just feeling like there was a month, I don't think I really served my challengers well. I was just putting them through the process of a challenge group, like an automated system that I was present, but I don't really feel like I was so mentally fatigued from management. I remember when I went for the yacht goal last year, last October, and I got like an obscene amount of Success Club points. Those people that I got into challenge group, do you think I could serve them well? And I had like, 30 people, and it became discouraging. I felt it was not fun. It was not fun. But it takes the focus, and it takes the focus off of our own goals. And I should say fitness goals here. I should say fitness goals. So how many of you, once you start getting coaching and start to get things rolling, your fitness starts to go downhill? Like, you've been there, right? I know I go there. It's like, oh, I should work out, but I could really use at this 30 minutes to get back to these people before whatever it is. When we start to think this way, it starts to get into, we're not thinking transformationally. So if you're finding that if you're like getting so involved in the transaction of the business that you're not even focusing on your own transformation, that's a big red flag that something has to change, which is why I've been pretty excited about this Coaches Only transformation, because I know for me, it was time for me to be a challenger again. For me to really be able to create a belief in challenge groups again. And as a transactional coach, you're checking off boxes. You're just going through the to-do list, you're pulling at your power hour and just saying, I'm just going to check it off. Some days, yes, as a business owner, you got to do monotonous stuff to keep a business running. But when you're just saying, well, I'm just checking off the box, I've hit Success Club, I've added this many people to my network. Okay, you're kind of going by the numbers to say, that's how I'm defining that I am doing this well. But as a transformational coach, I don't know what that meant. I don't really know what that note meant when I wrote that down, so I'm not even going to try to speak on it. Role continues when necessary. I don't really know what that means, so I'm going to ignore it. Why I wrote that. I'm sure it made sense when I wrote it, but a transformational coach, you stay inspired, you're resourceful, you're creative. When I'm thinking transactionally, I'm just plugging in to the scheduler what my posts are going to be. I'm just checking off the box that I schedule 3 posts a day. But when I am thinking transformationally, I am inspired by the day. I am creative and what this challenge group needs. When it's going dead, I'm going to have to do something different. When my new coach training system doesn't work for somebody, I'm going to have to think, differently. But when I'm thinking about, well, here's the process, here's the if that doesn't work, then, whatever. So I'm just giving you an idea of what transformational coaching might look like. If you looked at Allie's video, I took some of these off of her board and then I added my own. So she kind of gave us some samples of what transactional and what this looks like practically in our business. A transactional coach, you win in the short run. People are points. So if it's like I'm just going for my Success Club points, this is, I've already earned 2 points off of you, so I'm going to spend more time working this person. People are points. Or it's about me, not about we. It's about what are my Success Club goals, what are my rank goals. You're filling in with quantity over quality. I think about how I have my challenge groups have maybe within like 2 years or my 5 days, they've grown from like, I was getting like say 60 people in there. And then there was a month or two, I had like over 150 in there. Do you know that the sales that I get out of those groups are not necessarily any more than, and I don't mean percentage-wise, I mean total, gross. Because what kind of quality mentorship or guidance can I give that amount of people? And so when a coach says to me, oh my gosh, and this is sucky, I only have 10 people or 5 people in my 5-day. Well, give those 5 people the best daggone experience of their life. So think about the quality is so much more important than the numbers. I think about the fact that I have 12,000 followers on my like page. I was getting more customers last year, having probably half the numbers. So just, be careful to think that quantity is everything. When it comes to especially like likes on a post or, number of people that, join your 5-day, make sure that the transformational coach will be really committed to quality first. And the transactional coach is going to, bottom line is coach enrollment, Success Club, which is rank points, focusing on what they're doing to move them up the ladder of leaders, boards, recognition, and you're reactive. You are focusing on managing. And we've all been there. And there are times in your business you kind of have to shift and lean that way. But there becomes a point when you have to check yourself and realize, ooh, this is not what I want to reflect my business. My business to be reflected by. And so you work within an established set of goals, organizational boundaries. And what I mean by that is, you don't think outside the box. You think, okay, she says the 5-day cleaning me has to go just like this. That's what I do. Rather than thinking, what does my client tell me, or what can I do to provide more of a transformation within the network in which I serve. So transformational coach produces longevity. And this kind of does tie into a lot of the conversations we've had before, especially my harvest, my hunter versus farmer call. But that was more in terms of building a business and being like the planting of the seeds and the harvest and the commitment. That was more in line with that message of you got to toil, you got to put the time in every day. This is more in terms of the quality of the results or the investment that you're giving to the people that you're serving as far as your not just your challengers, the people that their social media following, your coaches. So obviously people are alive to serve. It's about them, not me. Finding the quality. So this is obviously the converse of what we just mentioned. The bottom line is your mission, Beachbody's mission, focused on serving, loving, and transforming lives. Blah, blah, blah. This is obvious. Proactive, promotes change, inspires change, creates a better future. Challenges the status quo and is change oriented. So we're going to get into some practical application here soon. And actually, I want to open up this conversation for your own thoughts and ideas here, because what I'm going to share is not comprehensive by any means. Just more in lines, ideas to kind of get you guys started. So we might be thinking of it transactionally, and hey, we've been there. So it's, this is not to judge. You ignore customers you've earned Success Club from before. Maybe you've given up towards the end of the month because you might not hit Success Club. You give up on people after hearing no once or twice, thinking, oh, because that's going to take more time to invest in someone else, or keep investing. So you want to go for that next yes. You aren't following up effectively. You're not interested in the business. This is one that is challenging to many of us, is we're not interested unless we can go all in, or I want to give it all I got. And so and this is a mindset of, well, if I can't see the fruits and the outcome looking like something that I could be proud of, like on paper, then I don't even want to invest. And this is a really slippery slope that we can go down. We think that, oh, I'm an all-in kind of girl, when really it's just, I don't want to not show, or I don't want the numbers not to reflect what I know I'm capable of if I were to put that time and energy in, when we're thinking more about transactionally instead of transformationally. And we are thinking transactionally if we struggle to put forth vital behaviors, because transactionally, it's more of A plus B equals C, and transformationally, it's more like who knows what it looks like. It's messy and it's sloppy and it's very different for every person. Every transformation is unique. And that's what most people struggle to put the vitals in, on a daily basis, because the transaction is uncertain. Transaction's uncertain. When, we have to be prepared for a 60-day, 90-day, year-long lag time with these vitals, and we're thinking transactionally. That's a much harder practice to get into. So what I want to do now is kind of brainstorm some ideas, and I want you guys to pipe in. Let's see if I can open the chat window. I can. Let's see it. Just some of the things I just threw out there. And I want anybody to share in the chat why are you talking directly to me? Oh, someone privately asked me why I was talking directly to them. I'm not you. We have 10 minutes. And Kathleen Kayak says she's been caught up in somebody's and trying to work to get away from them and back to basics and remember why I started. That's a great point that you just shared there, Kathleen, because that's, whenever I lose my joy in this business, I think about, whoa, why am I losing my joy? It's because I'm thinking transactionally. And when I go back to the reason I got started and why I got started and the behaviors that got me so excited in the first place, when challenge groups were my job, that was thrilling to me. That lit me up. That's why I grew a big business, though. That's why my business skyrocketed, because I was so invested in results and I wasn't even thinking about what was coming of it or not, that within a few months I was like, oh, this brings the transactions. Sweet. This brings the lifers. This brings the people who would believe. This brings the people who want to do this with me. And so that's where I want to go back to. I want to go back to that Megan who was just like, all I know is I love helping people and I love to see what happens when they are empowered to change their lives. But when I get, frustrated or discouraged or uninspired, it's because I'm like, well, this challenger dropped off, or they got off of Shakeology, or this coach just canceled, or my rank dropped or whatever, that's when I lose my joy. So Jen Weiss says, when I went transactional, I feel like I did more harm to my business than it benefited. I've dealt so much with catering everyone's worries or needs versus sticking to my guns. Felt so much with catering everyone's worries and needs. Awesome. And then Amanda, yes. So we've all been there, and this is, it's good to kind of have this conversation. So what does it look like to be transformational on social media? Number one, we must be sharing our own transformation. Physically, mentally, personally, spiritually, professionally, whatever. But I want to be really clear about something. We've been so cautious, almost like politically correct in talking about, oh, it's not just about your physical transformation, that we've gotten so far from that people aren't even committing to a program anymore. People aren't actually, you know what I mean? If you are not following a program or a calendar or something, and I'm not saying you have to have a before after like physical transformation, but you must be on a physical transformation journey that you're talking about. So if you haven't shared anything about what's changing for you in a long time, think about that. I know for myself, I'm using the programs. I'm using them 5-6 days a week. But I wasn't really following the calendar strictly because of my classes. And I wasn't really talking about 21-day fixed containers because I kind of figured out nutrition by now. What a detriment I'm doing to my following, to not show them what it looks like to follow a calendar and what it feels like to not want to do day 2 because I'm sore yesterday when I can get away with it. I can just do a lighter workout because, that feels better. But I can talk about it. If I expect them to come into my challenge group and do it, then I've got to show them that I do it. So that's why, we're doing this coaches only challenge. But think about that. If you haven't shared a before and after picture in a long time, or something that shows here I was then and here I am now, you might want to think about that. I mean, that we need to constantly be sharing our own transformation for people to believe us, to believe that this is something that's real and we're not just pushing a product that works for somebody else, Carrie says, I've been wondering what's been wrong. This is like reverse engineering for me. I've become transactional. It happens. It happens slowly. You don't even know it's happening. One thing I'm surprised I've done good at is finishing fitness programs. I went from never finishing to finishing start to finish in 7 months. I think it's really important to start a fitness program from start to finish and to talk about it. That does wonders. My best time in my business was the times I did that. So social media, yes, we're also not just going to surface on social media. I don't have this on here. If anybody wants to share anything that they think goes along with social media idea, I'm hot. Is to be transformational, we want to be, sharing subtly about our transformations as well as blatant before afters. We have to be providing value. We have to be providing things that elicit transformation. If we hope to bring people into our challenge groups, we cannot just be talking to them. We can't just be talking to them in conversation. We have to be sharing value that, alludes to change. Think long game. I talk about, think about the long-term implications of what you're sharing, and sharing testimonials. Even if you don't have your own physical transformation to share right away, you're sharing other people's. I shared Ann's today. I don't have a great before or after right here to show from I started Quarter Force last week. I'm not ready to share where I'm at physically. I might do that later. I don't know, but Ann had a great one, and fortunately, she's on our team, so it's even better that it's not just a Beachbody. But I loved it because it was a transformation physically, but really the most important part for me in her transformation was her, her numbers, her sugar numbers. Was it called glucose? I don't know what they call it. She can, I don't know. But her numbers were lower, doing the ultimate reset, helping her hopefully, get off medication long term, but she also lost weight. So awesome. But so sharing those things are super inspiring. And Well, anybody have any? Yes, blood glucose. Thanks. I was right. Okay, good. That's all. I know, guys. Like, that's amazing. She did a 21-day reset, ultimate reset, and she lost 14 and a half pounds. But her average numbers went from, I forget what it was, Anne, what was it? Something to like 93. I forget what it was, Anne, if you wouldn't mind putting that in it. Dropped to 30 points. That's crazy. 30 points. That's amazing. But if we're just sharing our like general fitness stuff day to day, oh, fitness is great, here's what it can do for you. But if you're sharing some real life change like that, that's transformational. Yeah. Okay, challenge groups. Here's where I think we really got to get serious about transformational coaching. Something that I'm not doing, and I call myself out, and because I don't really care about getting a free t-shirt, but people do. So I haven't been doing I've never submitted once for a Beachbody challenge because I don't really care about getting a free t-shirt. But that's not what it's about. And so if I'm not doing it, then my challengers aren't doing it. So if you're not maximizing the Beachbody challenge where your challengers, and I'm going to, I'm pushing this on my challengers from now on. I am having them submit their before afters to the Beachbody challenge. Hey, we've had people on our team get highlighted on Beachbody's Facebook page. We've had people win money from the Beachbody challenge. So get your challengers onto those submitting their stuff. I say chase before afters. If my challengers are not sending me before pictures, I'm not gonna just let them slide. Well, they put their 140 in, so I don't feel like I have to ask anything from them. They put their skin in the game. I'm chasing them. I wasn't before, but I'm chasing them now. I'm getting in. If they're not submitting afters, I'm chasing them. If they're running from me because, well, I really didn't follow it that well, then I want to know why. And so I'm digging deeper. I'm not just like, oh, well, I gave it, she had their 30 days. They broke the challenge pack. Oh, well, it's too bad. Hopefully next month I'll have a challenger that actually does better. No, I want to continue to invest in this challenger. I want to get their afters if they don't have them, find out why, and see if I can support them again next month and figure out what challenges are going on. And not just thinking, oh, I got to move on to the next sale. Because that's how you create lifers. That's how you create people who get results ultimately and want to be a part of this community of helping others change lives. Get creative. Get creative. If your challenges aren't working well, perhaps your coach gave you an outline of how to run a challenge group, but it's like going down south. Get creative, whatever it takes. You've got to be constantly keeping a temperature on these groups to see what is going to facilitate the most transformation. Many challenges, accountability partners. People do crazy stuff. People get fun and silly, whatever. But start to think outside the box if it's in line with helping your challengers get results. And searching out your challengers that go MIA. Okay, guys. Well, it wouldn't let me back into that same link, so I had to get creative and make it happen somehow. So here we go. I had a few more thoughts that I wanted to share before I got off, so I hope you guys are all piping in to, let me see if I can send a message for you guys to going live. Hey, someone's figured it out. Okay, going live, come back. Okay. Hey, Sue. Look, Sue figured it out. All right. So, I guess I'm going to try to, splice this together with the other recording. You got to do what you got to do. Okay. So, I went on... Hey, so I went on to talk about, onboarding our coaches. So there's a few thoughts. I don't want to take too much time. Is, bringing new coaches into our organization. So this, guys, if you're hopping in, you're like, this is the start of something weird. This is me going on from, if you didn't catch the Zoom, then you're going to be confused. This is, the Zoom is out, and I'm kind of picking up where we left off. So we're talking about onboarding new coaches. how to be transformational coaches and not transactional coaches. So when you get a new coach into your organization, what are you doing with them? Do you have a process to move them through? And is that process too transactional, where it's like, these are the things to do? Or are you, opening yourself up for providing a different way? Don't just drop them into a training. Don't just assume that your upline's training is going to support them best. Don't just tag them in something you want to see that your coach is putting off. Really taking the time to reach out to them personally. Being careful about moving them through, like an assembly line or a factory. Understand their goals, get them results. Once they're a coach, they still have fitness goals. Don't just let them now run their own challenge groups, realizing that they still need fitness support. I mean, this is really easy to do, and I know I struggle with this, is because they're running their own challenge groups. You don't want to put them in another challenge group and then start their own challenge groups. But you've got to be committed to making sure they are still on their fitness journey, because ultimately we need them to be believers too. They've got to be committed to it to be able to share it. So don't let your new coach, don't let your coach's fitness journeys just kind of fall by the wayside because now they're a coach, and that's not more important. Still their own personal goals are important, more important than you getting them the Success Club or them staying active so you can hit a rank. So think about this. Is this where you're finding yourself? Have you reached out to these inactive coaches in your organization in a while? If you have inactive coaches in your organization, invite them to the new coaches only challenge. Maybe they joined to build a business, but maybe they're embarrassed because they're not there right now. Maybe they just need a fresh start with their own fitness journey. Find out what these people's goals are. Rochelle's saying it's frozen for her. Sorry. I'm going to keep going, and hopefully this saves. And here's the other thing that I think might be contradictory, but be careful about hand-holding too much. If you kind of let them go on their own, then you're not really helping them with their being transformational. But if you are holding hands so much that coaches are not becoming independent and growing personally, then you're not helping them make their own transformation. I think about this when I think about my mission to empower people. I filter all my decisions through that. Is responding to this new coach's question helping them on their transformation journey, or is letting them figure it out themselves helping them on their transformation journey? Is it just easier for me to do as much as I can for them so that I can hit my goals? That's transactional. And then ultimately you have these coaches who never develop confidence in themselves. And then they're gone in the long term anyway. Okay, so I finish this up by saying, transactions do have their place, and this is a business, and we have the transaction of our time, like we're trading time for the energy we put into people's lives. It's an important resource, and we do have to protect it. We do have to be smart about it. So I don't want to discourage you from making business savvy decisions. For example, if someone just wants to purchase a program from me, am I not going to help them because it's not going to get me points? No, I'm going to serve them. But am I going to put them into my challenge group? No, I have to make smart decisions that are transaction oriented. And it's also transformation oriented, because if they're not as committed to, because they haven't made the investment, then they're ultimately not going to get their results anyway. So it's kind of twofold there. You do have to make some decisions, and that is perfectly okay. We ultimately have to know that the time that we're investing is going to have some kind of compensation that is reasonable for us. Obviously, in the first several months of our business, you're working for pennies, and that's not why we're doing it. This is for fulfillment and whatever other why we have. But the exchange is important, so I don't want to discount that. Yeah, I want to hit a rank. Yeah, I want to hit my Success Club numbers. Yes, but if I am being intentional about my business and the transformational behaviors, as Ali puts it in the video, if you have not watched it, plugging it again. She calls it joy setting. She talks about joy setting. Oh gosh, I wish I had that in front of me. But she says if you enjoy the process, you'll enjoy the results or something like that. And she talks about, how important it is to enjoy the process that leads to the results. When so many of us are so focused on the results, which is why we don't do the vitals, it's because we're not enjoying it. But, it is important that we are finding fulfillment in the exchange of time and investing in people's lives to be a transformational coach. Yeah, I do too, Ariel. I hear you. I feel bad too. That's why I create a different environment. I create a different environment that I don't have, that is not, I'm not investing as much of my time. And, again, it's to protect the people who are investing too. As a transformational coach, I've got to respect those who have decided to be ready right now. Is there a link somewhere for what, Ariel? I'm not sure what you mean. I create my own personal group. I have a general accountability group. I encourage people to have those, a place they take care of their previous customers or any customers that, have purchased just a program. Not like a monthly group. I have a general group that's ongoing. It's a year, it just exists. It's not like I have 2 groups each month that I'm trying to manage. It's just an environment that I provide, support, and I post in there, but it's not the same as a challenge group, but they are connected to me. They can ask questions. There are check-ins. I do have check-ins. Not a lot of people check in. It's one of those things I want to invest more time into making a better environment, because it's kind of, I have scheduled out lots of posts that are, either Beachbody blog links, that are resources that are helpful, some funny fitness memes, so some inspiring. The joy you were talking about, someone else was, joy setting. Yes, Ariel, that is the Rockstar call that I put in the newsletter. The newsletter it comes on Sundays if you're signed up for it. But I put I find good stuff to put in the Rockstar call. That's one of the reasons I don't have weekly team calls, because I don't need to if I can, when I find some really great training from another coach. And so I feel like if you hear from me twice a month, you're good. Knowing that other coaches are really much better at certain things than I am, so I'd rather have them talk about it. So if you're guys definitely those Rockstar calls, they are the Rockstar calls. They're not just things I found on YouTube. Oh, let me just plug something in there. They're legit. That one's only 20 minutes. Thank you, Lindsay. I'm so glad my curation of content is appreciated. And I'm serious about that. I'm not just being facetious. I mean that. Because I take it very seriously. So thank you. Okay, so I said we're going to start with why, we're going to end with why. Those questions that I asked you. Why do I coach? Write this down or think about this. Do you have a clear statement for your coaching that acts as a filter for every decision? Like I mentioned before, do you have a clear statement? If you don't, write a clear statement that you can use as a filter for the decisions you make. When I wake up and I have 30 minutes before I have to do whatever, and I may not get to do anything for a while, but I have I don't know, an inbox full of questions from my coaches, but I also have, I haven't had any new contacts in my business in a week. What am I going to spend time doing? The easy thing to answer questions from my coaches, or am I going to do my vitals and then get to my coaches later because, they can find answers themselves. Think about a clear statement that acts as a filter for you to each day come across a decision and know how to make that decision. Number 2, why do I coach the way I do? What triggers your behavior? So think about that. What triggers the behaviors? Is it just because I have certain business goals. I mean, and that's okay. Have those goals. But if you're just leading with those every week, I'm afraid I'm not going to see you here next month or next year. I'm afraid of it. I've watched it happen to too many people, not necessarily just on our team, but around me. I've seen so many people burn out from coaching because they get too caught up in the transactional side of it and motivated too much by the numbers. You've got to be triggered also by something deeper than that, or you're not gonna be here in a while. I would be long gone if there wasn't something, because I have moments. We all have our moments where we're like, what the heck am I doing? 5 people just canceled on me, or I can't get, everyone says no to me. I literally asked 50 people and I had 0 no's. Like, I'm done. We've had those moments. What was the first why question? Why do I coach? But we have something else that's triggering our behavior. And if our coaching is based on, best practices and not just shortcuts from A to B. So that's number 2, is why do I coach the way I do? Answer that question for yourself. Number 3, what does it feel like to be coached by me? And this might take a little time to consider, but I think this is one of the most valuable and overlooked questions. Think about what it feels like to go through your challenge group process. Do you have a good welcome email? Does it really bring you? Does it get you excited? I created a contract, like Brooke Lipoff. She mentioned on her last call that Brooke Lipoff, who was a guest speaker for me for a few weeks ago. She has this contract she puts out to her coaches, and I was like, that's a little ballsy. But then I was like, but you know what? That's cool, and that's why I'm giving it to you guys. I mean, she has it's like a contract that her challengers fill out for themselves. I'm committing to me. Megan Eggleston, commit to this 30-day program. To do my workouts every day, and they sign it themselves. This will bring me closer to my goals. That's transformational. Having these hard conversations, it's transformational. I've had some tough conversations with coaches, more than I've ever lately. I am one of those people who tends to be, softer in terms of holding people to their word or holding people to their goals. I don't want to make them feel like it's about my goal. So I sometimes go to the other side of being too brushing it off. So I've been getting a little bit more blunt with my coaches who give me excuses and my clients who give me excuses, at the risk of them thinking the wrong thing, at the risk of them thinking it's about my goals. But really, I'm just if this is me, I want someone to call me on my BS. And so if I'm just saying, oh, let me know when you're ready, then I'm really letting them off the hook. And really, they said they had goals, and I don't want to be the person who just kind of let them, allowed them to be mediocre when I know that's not what they want. So, I mean, maybe one of you sitting on this video, I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe you are. I can think of a handful of people this year that and I don't even know how they feel. I really don't. I don't even know if they feel like that was the jerk thing to say, Megan, or what, because I haven't heard back from them. But you know what? I was filtering it through a decision. I was filtering it differently. I was filtering it through, oh, I don't want them to think this is about me. But now I'm filtering it through the decision. No, I want to be transformational. I want someone to think this was just what I needed to finally get over myself and finally go for what I asked for. So at the risk of that, that's the decision I made, and hopefully it's the right one. But I mean, I think it was, because I knew that I couldn't sit, with myself if I didn't ask some probing questions. So that third question was, what does it feel like to be coached by me? And what does it feel like to be on the other side of you? So think about what it's like to go through your challenge group system. Think about what it's like to go through your, new coach training. Think of what it's like to be a follower on your social media. What do you want those people to feel? Do you want it just to be, I marked off the boxes of my 3 posts today. I scheduled my post, boop, boop, boop. Okay, I'm good. Or do you want somebody to think,
wow, she is really speaking to me. And then fourth, and this is really important, is how do I define success? How do you define success? If there's one thing you do with this list, it's answer this question. Because if you're not crystal clear about this, then the scoreboard is going to determine that answer. The back office, your rank, leaderboards, shout outs, whatever, I don't know. If you're not crystal clear on how you define success, then you're going to let those things determine that answer. And then that's when you lean towards transactional coaching. So I hope that you know, and the thing is, you're going to have to revisit this from time to time. This is, you don't just get it. It's a slippery slope. You're running a business. You're an entrepreneur now. Numbers do matter. You know, so it's, and, you know, it's just something that you're going to have to be intentional about. Any success or success in our business, and I mean success in this business, you know, success as a coach, I would say, you know, how do I define success? You know, if I were to write it down, I would say, you know, I feel like success to me is providing, you know, value to people who I know, or providing value to my challengers, to my social media following, to my coaches, providing opportunities for success, providing empowerment. You know, if I tanked in my like numbers tomorrow, but I still feel like I was successful because I invested in people and their lives are changing. That's what I want to know is, like I said, when I was earning like pennies a day as a new coach, it's because challenge groups were my job and I didn't care. It was so fulfilling and rewarding to see people like a business philosophy. I mean, not really. That last question was just, how do you define success? How do I define success as a coach? This is why people might decide not to be a coach anymore, or stop coaching, or become a discount coach, is because their success was, they weren't really sure how to define it. When it was numbers, then that's a reason to just decide not to, if things aren't moving fast enough. But if success for them is just, I just want to be accountable to my own fitness goals, I just want to be a better version of me, then that's when you're like, I'm a discount coach and I'm fulfilling that why, you know. If, you know, how do I define success? That's different for everybody. I hope that's helpful. So just to kind of reiterate some of the things that we're doing over the next month or so to help us all stay in mind, keep that in mind, our being transformational coaches. It's, you know, the coaches only challenge, obviously. I'm going to have you guys sign a contract. I am like going to be really pushy about putting out before photos. And it's not about you needing to look a certain way. It's about you sharing that these things work. They need to know it works. If they just see all Beachbody's, you know, before afters, then they can just go to beachbody.com, right? Or they can go to any coach. But you want them to come to you. So, you know, share your journey, share your transformation. Core to Force is supposed to be like epic. I'm in this 5-star and above group with it's Core to Force. Like, we have some coach in the rank, whatever top ranks, has created the group for anybody, for any of the new programs. Anybody that's in the 5-star and above, you know, can be a part of it, and like we can hold each other accountable, which is good, because I need that from someone other than my challenge group. But there's a lot of the test group participants, people who were in the test group for Core to Force, and they're in there just like raving about you know, about their transformation. I'm seeing these amazing transformations in there. This is an amazing program, and whether you think you're going to love it or not, committing to the new program, I know that I'm beating a dead horse. I don't care. I don't care, because I truly believe that it's really important when we can to commit to these new programs and show people a day 1 to day 30 journey. So that's one of the things we're doing. Team Spirit Challenge, guys. That's that's part of the joy setting. I'm trying to make fun around the process and not just numbers. That's why we're doing the bingo. That's why we're doing raffles for getting on a live power hour. So somebody tell me the hashtag we're supposed to use that Joel and Jericho mentioned on the National Wake Up Call. Does somebody remember? Put that in the. I know the hashtag for the team spirit. If you guys don't know this, they're doing, part of the points is doing hashtagging some of your pictures that are in line with the Beachbody or the team spirit. It was hashtag Team Beachbody Team Spirit, and then hashtagging your team name, hashtag Team Spirit or Team Phoenix. You have to put both in there. Do I have a blank bingo card? They're in the pinned post on the team page, Jen. BB Team Spirit? I think it's actually hashtag Team Beachbody Team Spirit. It's long. It's really a mouthful. So for Team Spirit, guys, that's what they want you to tag your pictures with, Team Spirit. But also, for points for Team Spirit, we're using the challenge tracker. Beachbody's giving you like you get your Success Club points. So we're using the challenge tracker. I'm using the challenge tracker for our coaches only challenge, but I encourage you to use the challenge tracker. Actually, that's the only way you can get double points for that, for the Team Spirit, is to use the challenge tracker app. And then again, let's just repeat the vital process that I just talked about at Super Saturday. We get clients started, we get them results, and ideally they become advocates and enthusiasts, and they transition to coaches, and then we develop mentor coaches. But we've got to be careful about skipping those steps. And I think number 2 is our number 1 job, is to get results. So I am taking a fresh approach to my business. I have kind of over the past couple of months, and just this leadership retreat really just helped me kind of get that. Thanks, Victoria. Oh, you want to make one? Oh, I don't know that I have one, Jen. I mean, you can just take mine and make a copy of it. Like, you can just click file, make copy, and then, but that's a smart idea. See, Jen's getting creative there. She's creating a bingo for her challengers. That's good thinking. Yeah, you can find blank ones. I would encourage you to do that too, because I looked for blank ones, but I wanted, they have 5 slots, a traditional bingo card, but I wanted it to be Phoenix, so I had 7. So you might want to get a real one. Okay, guys, any questions before we end this? Anybody, and I love any ideas. If you want to share, use this event to share any ideas that you're going to use moving forward to be more of a transformational coach, maybe to make your challenge groups more effective. You know, share these things on the team page too. These are kind of things that we as a community want to share our ideas and how we're helping our coaches get results. So we don't want to just share, here are the best scripts to convert to a challenge pack sale. But also, here's what I'm doing to light my challengers up. Do you know what I mean? So I want our community to be one that is committed to getting results in our challenge group. So, feel free to share any ideas that you think are working for you that might inspire other people. Can you use hashtags in Instagram or Facebook? You can use them in both. I don't know if they're looking at both for the contest though, so I don't know. I feel like it might just be Instagram for the Team Beachbody Team Spirit one, but I don't know about the Quarter Force one. I gotta listen to that again. I feel bad that I don't know that. Okay. Any other questions? Who's getting on the live power hour tomorrow? Here we go. Victoria's got something here. Let's see what it says. Victoria says, win $1,000 with Quarter Force, posted due Tuesday, November 1st, to celebrate the launch of Quarter Force. One lucky person a day is going to get $1,000. So post your Quarter Force workout on Instagram or Twitter during the contest period. What's the hashtag though? Victoria. Victoria, it says upload the video onto Instagram or Twitter. Does it say what to do after you do that? Anybody know? Nobody knows. Well, I'll figure it out. Oh, there you go. Hashtag Court of Force and hashtag contest. So I posted something on Instagram today, so I can go back and hashtag it now, right? A video. I'm gonna do that. Hashtag Court of Force, hashtag contest. Hey, I might win $1,000. Perfect. Okay, great. Thanks for answering those questions. All right, y'all. Apologize for the snafus. I'm so annoyed because we had like 90 some people register for this, and then I don't know what happened. So hopefully I can get an email out to everybody with this spliced recording. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.